I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Snellings.
Present.
Ferris.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Keating. Beichman.
Present.
Fromm.
Here.
Schrader.
Present.
Garacki.
Present.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. First up, we have public comments. If anyone would like to come forward at this time and speak.
Back up.
Oh, approval of minutes. Jumped right ahead, didn't I?
Yeah. Move approved minutes, regular meeting October 27th, 2025 is written.
Second.
Moved in second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Now we shall have public comments. If anyone would like to come forward and speak to a maximum of 5 minutes, please give your name, address, and ward.
I'm Kenley Wilson.
You can.
1213 Heights Avenue.
Yep.
Okay.
Can
My name-
you pull the mic a little bit?
Yeah, we can't hear.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Kenley Wilson, and I'm here representing the Kansas Association for Youth, or K-Club. We're an organization at Marysville High School that focuses on building character, leadership training, and services to others. We are excited to present K-Citizenship this week to the high school, and we appreciate the City of Marysville recognizing this as K-Citizenship Week. One of my favorite service projects we do as a club is the blood drive. It gives you the opportunity to have such a positive impact on someone's life. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, would anyone else like to come forward at this time? Seeing none, I have a proclamation here for K-Club Week. Whereas K-Club's core goals are to empower Kansas students with lifetime leadership skills and an attitude of service to others, and whereas participation in K builds character, promotes good citizenship, and improves life skills, now therefore I, Todd E. Fry, Mayor of the City of Marysville, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of November 9th through 15th, 2025 as Marysville K-Club Week, dated this 10th day of November, 2025. Thank you. Thank you. We have no notices and hearings this evening. We'll move into business and discussion items. First up, we have the request to replace the backstop at Feld Field. John Hafley.
Good evening. My name is John Hafley, and I have been the varsity high school baseball coach for the last 5 years. I also am the general manager of the American Legion baseball program. And although I'm not here on behalf of either of those organizations, I'm more here on behalf just as a private citizen. I spoke with Kyle a week or two ago about my thoughts on replacing the backstop, as I knew Kyle was on the Parks and Rec committee. And I guess I'll first say that our baseball field is a great field. It's had some great upgrades in the last 5 years with outfield fencing and lighting being replaced. But as with any infrastructure, there always needs to be continued upkeep to keep it great. I've always felt that our field is a tremendous field, but it is an absolutely horrible place to watch a game. Two main reasons. One is the backstop where it currently sits is 60 feet from home plate, which is typically major league distance. And so you're further away from the action when you're in the stands. And the second is the chain link makes it a little harder to see through. And the current wood backstop low wall is just high enough that if you sit your lawn chair in front of it, you can't see over it. So that's why there's a lot of folks that traditionally will park along the foul lines, which is great, but it's, even that much further away. So I've always wanted to try to improve the sight lines for the fans. And nowadays, I would say that virtually all new ballparks put in netting for backstop material. I was speaking with a local citizen, and I know that our backstop is well over 50 years old currently. I did include some pictures of, just some thoughts and plans of what I'd like to see, as well as some pictures of the current backstop. One in particular shows some pretty significant rotting, or if you will, of the current iron posts. I'm really just here to make sure that that there is some support from the city council, because I don't want to get too far down the road with any plans and funding, only to find out that replacing it is not an option. So I'm in the preliminary stages of this. In a perfect world, I'd get everything in place to get it changed by the spring, but that's probably not likely. And so I'm just starting out by kind of testing the waters of how the city and city council feel about that. I'm looking for the project to be privately funded. I've made some upgrades there already to the field. I put in new speakers and so forth, and some other dugout enhancements. The dugouts are such that a lot of kids stand on the 8-inch wide concrete wall and hold on to the fence, which is not ideally safe. So I had some platforms built that are removable, that allow at least the kids on the home team to stand a little safer. But I understand that budgets are tight, and I don't expect the city to have to, provide funds. Part of my request would be to maybe entertain the idea of whether the city would, if this project does go forth, would the city and its staff be able to remove the fence and clear it as a part of the project. And then lastly, I do have plans for continued funding of the project. Say, a netting will probably last maybe 8 years, and the net itself is actually probably the cheapest part of the whole project. And I have plans in place that would kind of continually fund that project, so that in 8 years or so, I'm not asking the city to buy a net. So just kind of looking for permission to explore this, asking if you have any requests from me as far as, do you need approval of the plans? How involved do you want to be? I'm just looking for guidance there from you.
I would imagine that we would probably request the plans before we approve anything, just so we can determine whether it's the best fit for the city. Like, I didn't realize it was so early in the stages. I was talking to Kyle a little bit before. I noticed that in the picture there was no netting for to catch pop flies and stuff, but I'm sure that's all going to be, hammered out when you do more investigation. I didn't realize it was such in the early stages.
Yeah, it's part of the problem that also exists is foul balls. And the fact that the fence is 60 feet from home plate from the back, you have to really have a tall fence to really catch foul balls. Right. And we have lost tens of dozens of balls over the years that go into neighboring yards, and that maybe they don't want us to certainly come and ask for them. And I've always wanted to put a net up along that west fence to actually try to save some foul balls. At this point, I don't think that my project would be funding overhead protection at this time, just mainly backstop.
I would think with, if your plan is to move it closer to home plate, I think you'd hit the nail on the head. If it's a lot closer, it's
Yeah.
gonna catch a lot more, and there may not even be a requirement for that.
Right. Yeah, you know, it's going to be cheaper if I use the existing footing, but it will have the downside of the distance.
Sure.
But it just kind of depends on the overall cost of the project and donors.
I mean, my personal feeling is anytime that we hear something, the words privately funded, I think that we say thank you for spearheading this. This is awesome. And I would agree it needs some upgrading, and although my kids aren't at that age level yet, they hopefully will be playing baseball in the next, 5 years or so.
Sure.
So I think that this is really important. And as far as keeping us in the loop, I think that that's something that as Parks and Rec Committee could probably, work with you on, making sure that we liaise with the rest of the council to make that happen, and just, see where your vision is and if it aligns with what we can do. So,
Sounds good.
I agree. I think this is one that all roads lead through the Parks and Rec Committee, and as long as they're kind of aware what's going on and they can be that communication with the city. And I mean, the biggest concern I would have is making sure it's something we can maintain, but I mean, it's going to be such an improvement that I don't think it'll require probably a lot of maintenance in the near term, which is great too, and I think the improved viewing experience will be really nice.
And I would say, to add to those comments, one, we have a contractor that maintains the program overall. Let's get them involved so they feel like they're engaged. But then I agree, Parks and Rec is where it needs to go to.
And I have spoken to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it really expand on it and do something about the seats and the press box, but that's long-term.
As soon as I win the lottery,
I understood.
We'll have turf and stadium seating and everything.
Understood. It is a beautiful ballpark.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been like that for a lot of years.
Yeah. Are you gonna be advertising this so, you could get funding from like local businesses and things? Is that?
Well, I'm first sort of getting my plans and ducks in a row and what the cost is gonna be, and then I'm certainly planning to reach out to local businesses, and just see what I need, to explore from that standpoint. Obviously, there could always be advertising involved, but that would have to be approved, obviously, by the city if there's gonna be any signs or anything like that up there. The other thing that, I'm not an expert in is I did have Vince mark where the sprinkler heads were behind home plate, and if we move it in as much as we probably have to move it in, there might be some sprinkler heads that need to be considered. I don't know how difficult or expensive that is to cap those or things like that. The current backstop length is 65 by 50 by 65. And to do like a typical 4-pole tie-back system, like there's some pictures that I emailed, about the maximum span you can go is 50 feet. So it would cut it down to 50 by 50 by 50. So it's going to make that backstop more shallow, and it would be moved in so that it's 40 feet from home plate instead of 60. But we're limited on, how we can really move things because the dugouts are permanent and in ground.
You kind of have an idea what kind of backstop you want, but you play in a lot of other ball fields. Is there a comparable backstop that you like playing in other fields?
Oh, a lot of what we like currently in our league, for example, Rock Creek has a a full turf field with netting backstop. Concordia just put in, along with Cloud County, a turf infield with a netted backstop. Sabetha, for years, has had turf plus netting, so it's pretty common. Yeah. I haven't reached out to them to see like what companies they've used, but I'm looking to more kind of source local companies to kind of help with the build.
I'll just echo what Kyle stated, that thank you, that's a great thing, and it's not often, that's always a probability or something that can happen, so anytime it does, I know all of us up here are really appreciative of it, and I know that all the future generations that use the field are gonna really appreciate it as well.
Well, we appreciate the lights and the fence that the city had done. That was definitely needed and huge upgrade. So we just want to keep the field getting better.
Yep, I would say you have the support of the council on that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have the One Marysville Christmas requests. Well, if you'd like to come up, since you're in the room, Wayne.
Well, Christmas has officially kicked off in Black Squirrel City. Christmas open house was Friday, and our retailers indicate that it was a strong shopping day to kick off our season. The office is very busy. People are coming in and out. We've got a crew that's working on updating and fixing those animatronic animals that used to be in the gazebo. Then we have the people working on the toy drive for Santa's Closet, and then we have the crew planning all of these fabulous events. So before you tonight is a request to shoot off the fireworks. So you see the location that we propose, and then we're going to have a parade when Santa comes to town. So those are our two requests this evening. If the firework request is approved, I'll make sure I go to all the neighbors and businesses in the area to make them aware that we're shooting off fireworks at an unexpected time or not typical time.
So what's around the caboose? Isn't there housing
There
over
is
there?
a house
To the
to the west,
Yeah.
and then a couple businesses.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
My biggest concern would probably be the piles of lumber,
Oh, yeah.
the lumber
Oh,
yard,
yeah.
but if you're communicating with Kevin Cromie, I'm sure that's fine.
I know that in the city ordinance, I only know this because I had to do it to get my fireworks for my appreciation day. Don't we have to get permission from everybody around before we can approve it, or what's the?
Is it before, or is it? That's what he just.
Is it a radius or is it immediate neighbors?
I would have to look that up.
Remember what
Yeah,
you said.
it was pretty specific, I thought.
Give Sammy on it.
Yeah.
But so is that something we can approve?
Pending, we can do a pending.
Yeah,
And we can always take it to the next.
yeah, that's the only thing I was concerned about. 'Cause I
However,
think we
with
have a-
communication, I mean,
With the owners already, I don't know.
what was that?
If he's like chatted already with Kevin Cromie and those guys, there's not a lot else.
I mean, I feel like we could probably do it pending approval of all the neighbors and, let that kind of run its course without bringing it back to council again.
Yeah, that's all I wanted is, because I just know there's an ordinance and I don't want to go against that.
Run afoul of that.
So move to approve the request pending approval from the neighbors.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Okay.
Just so we're on the same page, like what does approval look like?
When I did, the neighbors I just had to notify them that I was doing it, and they just had to say, yes, it's fine with us, or no, we don't want it. And
I think a verbal commitment, as long as
It's
you.
fine, okay.
nothing has to be signed or written, as long as they.
Well, and the big thing is, don't make a mess.
Right.
You know,
Yes, we've already ordered,
the big thing.
dumpsters.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, but you don't have to get signatures or
Okay.
anything, you just have to hear them say yes, and you just tell us, or
Okay.
Sammy or whoever, and just say, yeah, they said yes, no problem, so
Okay.
it's pretty simple.
So the next request on there was to traffic control?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Do approve the request on that.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ada.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne.
All right, next up, we have the One Marysville Service Agreement. This is the lengthy legal document section of the program that's been being discussed for a while.
I can say we've discussed this for quite some time now. This and the item immediately following 4, and I think the general consensus of the Admin and Finance Committee was that our recommendation is we move forward with this on both items 3 and 4. So.
Move to approve the service agreement with One Marysville.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I would just say that reading through it, it took a while, but, you know, it just seems to me like all the bases were covered. It was very well thought out, very well written. So to all those who put in the work to get it done, thank you.
That's the first pat on the back I've had in a couple months.
Good job, Luke.
All right, is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ada.
Thank you.
Move to approve the One Marysville lease agreement.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ada.
Thank you. Next up, we have the 15th Street Storm Sewer Center Street Dip Repair Proposal from Hall Brothers.
So previously, this was brought before council with Rob Peschel from CES in attendance. He gave us an estimate of 25 to 30,000, I believe. Since this was above that, we went ahead and said, let's go ahead and take it back so that way council can see it. Just to know that there's an additional 3,700 that is a part of this. If approved, they would look to try to start within the next couple weeks on this, as soon as they're done with the South 77 getting shut down.
Move to approve the dip repair proposal.
The dip repair. That's awesome.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
It said on there that they're worried about the edges because they've been coned off for the construction, that they could possibly dip with traffic and freeze and thaw. So in this price, is that included in that, I guess?
So they are going to be coming back in the spring of 26 to address any additional settlement. I don't believe that that is a part of the price as far as fixing it when they come back.
I was gonna say, I think we discussed this.
We did.
We did.
I can't remember who brought it up when. I think it might have been
Kevin did.
Kevin brought up the deviation from the center where it's at, and I brought up the freeze thaw.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I remember discussing
Yes.
this. So, good question. Yeah, I don't know.
That was just my only
I
question.
just,
'cause it
yeah,
wasn't
I don't
very
know.
specific. It needs to be done either way.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
just
We gotta get the dip
information.
out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's sort of connected to that. Do you know when they're planning to, say, remove the cones and remarket to full width? Will it be at the completion of the entire project or at the completion of this project?
Yeah, so I believe it's at the completion of the entire project, just with how they are still working on the parking lot at Nordis's. So, and then they still have some equipment nearby. So just, they have spread them out a little bit, I believe, to allow wider traffic through a little bit better. However, I don't believe they will remove them completely until the whole project has been completed.
But we won't have to remarket twice. I mean, I'm just thinking if we do this and we mark it and then we go back and we remark it in a couple months.
Yeah, I don't believe that they would. I mean, I think remarking would be a part of the spring 26 if
we needed.
Yes.
Okay.
And the storm sewer contractors are aware that this could be taking place in the next couple of weeks. And
Yes, yep, all the logistics should be running through CES, and so they should be aware that this is a part of it, and every communication that we've had since, the beginning has been about this part and how it will get fixed, so they should be aware.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ada.
Thank you. Next up, we have the RFP for the 2025 auditor.
So we went out for, an RFP for auditors in 21. I believe it was 21 for 22, 23, and 24. We extended for 23 and 24, and then we extended for 25. Originally, it was a possibly 3 or more year deal, so we went ahead and wanted to get this in front of council, so that way we're not automatically extending it, and we go out and try to find a new deal with an auditing firm. We do currently enjoy the firm that we're with and work well with them. However, you know, we have to go out every few years again. So this is just getting this back in front of council and getting it back out there.
Move to approve the RFP for auditors.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I have one question. Is this an RFP or an RFQ?
How it was written in the past was an RFP. I would say it is more of an RFQ though, yes.
Okay. That's the only question I had.
All right, any other questions? Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Cato.
Thank you. Last up, we have the draft resolution for a one-way on Alston Street.
So this is just a draft to get in front of you guys about the one-way on Alston Street by the school. Sorry, still going to the page. So as it reads, Alston Street East from 10th Street to 11th Street, just like how we had talked about. We have talked with the principal at the elementary school already, as Sammy brought to you guys last time. So they are aware of this potential change, along with other potential changes for traffic in the area, but wanted to make sure that this was out in front of you guys as a draft resolution, and then of course out in front of the public by putting it in the agenda and talking about it at council.
And this is something the neighbors on the north side of Alston Street, have they received any communication?
We have not talked directly with them at this time, so that would be one of the next goals.
Would there be no parking on the north side of that street?
The plan from the street committee was to continue allowing parking on the north side, but it would be left the driver's side to curb.
Akin to what's on Walnut Street in front of the high school, where there's left wheel to curb, but there's still angle parking there on the south side.
Yeah, same thing.
Because there's parking's a bit tight up there.
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Losing any is, well, it can be rough.
Just as like down at the high school.
And has it gone through street committee yet?
This was a recommendation from street committee. Yeah,
So we have a recommendation.
We had never put out an actual written resolution
That way it's a
previously.
complete square around the
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Now
it's,
that Alston Street's two-way traffic and, you know, you get a big vehicle in there and
in
sometimes
the
it's,
corner of 10th and Alston, it's difficult sight lines for
Yeah.
kids walking and crossing. Teachers have commented on that to the administration.
So can we not approve publication of the resolution? I think it's a resolution.
I believe we have a number if the council was ready to do that. I know in the past we have been instructed to bring a draft first, so that way the public has a chance to see it.
And I think getting this information in front of the homeowners and renters or whomever on the north side of Alston, since it will change, very much affecting them. I think getting them officially notified, since it's only, 5 probably people, would be a good idea.
Yeah, there's about that many, yeah.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yes, this can be moved forward with if the council so desires.
Is there a process for those homeowners to like appeal this?
They can come and
I mean, they could always come talk to us, but of course, coming and talking in front of the governing body would probably be the most effective way, here at council meetings. Yeah, if this were to be passed, in order to, go back would just be passing another resolution to get rid of it then. So it would just be undoing what we did. Otherwise, it's waiting for comments to happen.
Whereas this will instigate the comments, I would hope, if there are comments.
It's
Yeah,
up to the
it
general
depends
public to
on
make
how,
that decision.
Right.
Yeah.
you want to go about it, I would say. Do you want the comment? We have talked about it. We talked about it at the last council meeting. We've talked about it at street committee. So we have talked about these potential changes for a number of weeks. So it's not like we've been quiet and this is the first time it's being presented. However, this is the first time a draft resolution has been presented. During the city clerk's report during the last meeting, Sammy talked specifically about how it would be going east on 10th to 11th and what that would mean for parking. So yeah, I feel like we have talked about this, and now ultimately there could still be comments that happen if this were to be passed, saying that, you know, they hadn't seen a draft before.
How hard would it be just to get notification to the homeowners? And, you know, not everybody watches the meetings. I know it's not our job to make them watch them, I get that. But I'd hate to pass it and then it turns into something.
There's different ways to do it. I would say the easiest would be certified mail to, you know, we know that they have received it. Another way would be just regular mail. However, with how long it takes, I would say sometimes that might be too long of a wait. Other ways would be door knocking, but then of course you run risks with door knocking. Yeah.
Well, and this doesn't have to be acted on. I mean, we can do that in advance with the, you know, basically you're telling them that this resolution is going to be brought forward at the next council meeting.
Yeah.
And if you are concerned,
Give them 2 weeks.
please contact City
Give
Hall,
them a couple
contact your
weeks.
representatives, come to the council meeting.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just think that's more fair. I mean, and because we've always done it that way too, so to change it this past, I think could, you know, catch people off guard, so.
Okay.
Would you like us to send out mail in the meantime? Or,
Yes.
yeah, we can send something out on Wednesday.
How do you decide who to send it to versus just the people who live on the block or people
That's the
affected?
people I'm
Yes.
concerned
Yeah,
about.
Yes.
just the
people, it's
five
gonna be
houses
most
across.
affected.
And we would probably send one to the school just to ensure that they have
All right.
a
Because
copy.
those 5 people are the ones that are gonna be impacted with the way they have to park.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Get the one person around the corner that says, nobody told me.
And we will be communicating, of course, continually with the principal and with the school district to ensure that they are communicating with the teachers and other employees of the school. So that way they know the changes that this would cause, but then also potential other changes that could happen.
Is there an alley on that block?
No, it's on the back side. It's an east-west alley. There's not one going north-south, if that's what you mean.
No, going east-west, that's what I
Yeah,
wondered.
yeah,
There is an alley, so those people could park.
I think the majority, maybe only one house has one or two houses have an alley or have an access off
Two
the
of them
street.
have alley access.
Oh, I meant off of Alston Street
Oh,
itself.
there's
Two driveways off of Alston? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those would be affected. Would you provide this tentative or draft resolution?
Yeah, we
With
can.
that, just so that way there's no doubt in the explanation, since it's clearly laid out?
Yeah, we can write a letter and then provide this with draft written on it, and then, you know, make sure it's certified, so that way we are getting a card back from them and guaranteeing that they have received it, or somebody at the residence has received it.
Better to over-communicate in this case.
Yeah, with this one, it's not too much of an expense. If there were 100 houses,
Right.
that would
Yeah.
be different. However, if there's 5, 4, you know, and then the school.
And two of those it's a duplex, so I don't know if you, I mean, I
We'd
presume
look
it's
at
not
the-
owner occupied, so I don't know who you mail it to. Do you mail it to the resident or to the owner?
They might both have, if it's a duplex, they probably both have service accounts, and we'll go off of that.
I would just say that, because certified mail does not have to be accepted, right?
No, it does not.
So I know, just from my experience, certified letters can scare people. They don't know what it's about, what's inside of it. So they, you know, essentially it could say, well, I don't really want that. So I don't know if that's the best route to go, because I definitely want them to have the information. I could say that just sending it regular mail would be fine, because I know we're not guaranteeing that they're receiving it, but I don't want to scare them away from the information either, I guess. That's my only point on that.
We could also have a public meeting on this too, if we want.
Oh, yeah.
Is anybody
With
gonna
the, with,
come?
it's kind of a, I mean, it's,
Maybe then, if we send this out this way, then we basically tell them the next meeting is the de facto public meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Next council meeting
Put
is,
that on the
it's a
website.
public meeting,
Yeah.
so, and if you have any questions in advance, reach out to City Hall, reach out to
I like
your
that.
governing
it'd be
body
nice to
representatives.
hear what they're thinking, what they're saying.
Sure. Well, yeah, and they might just have questions and concerns, so.
And you said it the best way you feel is best, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
from
we'll work with
experience.
it, and then I'll try to figure out if there is a better way, for what we're trying to achieve.
They hated it
on
20
this.
years ago when we made the other 3 streets one-ways.
But it's, you know what? I don't go up there very often, but from when my kids were going to school, it's much better.
Oh, yeah, way better. Yep.
Okay,
Back to that.
so we'll take no action on this at this time. Okay, moving on, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Veto.
Thank you. Next up, we have the presentation of appropriations ordinance number 3859.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance number 3859
Any amount.
in the amount of $305,296.88.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call?
Snellings,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Beichman,
Yes.
Throm,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gurakey,
Yes.
Veto.
Thank you. Next up, we have the city administrator report. Josh?
Yeah, so just a couple updates on some of the projects that we have going on around town. On the 11th Road project, we do have the sewer force main connected at this time, and then the corrected concrete was poured. So that leaves the sidewalk and then the ditch work for the most part, all punch list items. So we are getting a lot
Didn't
closer.
they pour the sidewalk Friday?
I haven't seen since my meeting, with Tony, so I haven't been out
I
there.
thought they were pouring Friday when I went by.
I can definitely check and update council at that time. I don't know if I doubt anybody has been on 11th Road otherwise, so,
Well, I just go by
Yeah.
with it.
yes.
Through there with
yeah.
the bus is the only reason I know they
Still
go
not
there.
supposed to drive on it, right?
No, it's still closed off, yes.
They got it locked down pretty good right now.
Yeah, they
On North 15th Street, with the storm sewer project, they did get the last box set, so they're about 90% complete with the original project. Right now, they are working on the north part of the project, of the additional project. We did run into an area where we might add another project into that, more to do with water lines than with the stormwater. We're looking at maybe adding a valve. The closest valve is a block away, and then the next closest is 4 blocks away. So getting one in between, so that way we can shut down when we need to and try to contain those areas. So we're still looking at pricing for that. We would probably provide all the material, but we do not have those materials currently. So we would be trying to get those in first. Like I said, we're still gathering quotes for it, but we'd probably check with Carlson first, since they're the ones working on that area. That hole should be dug already, so, just working on that while it's exposed. So hopefully that'll help reduce some of those costs. Let's see, and then as I'm sure you're aware, 15th and Carolina intersection is closed currently. It should be closed for the next 2 to 3 weeks. All the houses and residences in that area should have access to their driveways. We've notified all emergency personnel, so that way they know the best way to get around that area. And then finally, we should be getting ready for Christmas this week. We're starting to, get ready to decorate the tree. We'll be putting together all the lights and light bulbs for the Christmas tree on Friday. I think there's about 2,000 feet or something like that of lights. And none of the light bulbs were on there, so we're putting all those together. So it'll be lots of fun, but we're hoping it'll get done on Friday. Hopefully it doesn't bleed into the next week. Otherwise, congrats to all those who ran and all those who won. Thank you to all those that ran. It's very important to the city and important to just democracy in general to take part in the elections and to run for these positions. So thank you all.
Thank you, Josh. Next up, we have standing committee reports. We did have admin finance committee meeting. A lot of the discussion there, I guess all the discussion there was regarding the One Marysville agreements that we already voted on this evening. So no need to probably rehash through that since they've already been approved. And the other committee meeting was the Water and Sewer Committee meeting to discuss the stormwater drainage plan study RFP for a 7th Street corridor. Tony was here as well, so we could kind of look at the 3 responses that we did receive and kind of get an idea of the variation amongst them. We had not looked at any bid pricing yet. We're trying to see which study is kind of maybe the one that looks like they've most able to meet all of our needs, answer all of our questions, kind of the right balance of depth and breadth, etc. I believe the committee was going to get you questions, and then we were going to pose these questions to those 3 respondents to see what their answers were. Did you get
Those questions have been sent out to each of the respondents. We put a deadline of Friday at end of business. So we'll probably want to set up another water sewer committee for after that time, so that way we can review those answers.
Okay. So do you want to try to set that meeting up now, or do you want to wait and see?
Let's wait.
Yeah, I was going to say we can reach out to everybody on the committee and probably look at Monday through Wednesday of next week.
I will not be here till probably Wednesday at the earliest. Okay. So, but okay, no problem. I don't have to be at that meeting anyway, necessarily. So I think that was all that was covered in that meeting. But it was good too. I don't think we had a committee meeting with Tony yet, so that was good to kind of get some of his take and his opinion, because he's worked with some of these engineering firms in the past as well. So I thought that was good. I have no appointments or wage determinations. We do have a city attorney here this evening. What have you brought for us, sir?
I have brought my presents. Just been working on that One Marysville agreement with Josh and the resolution that was put in front of you. I think those have been kind of the core, couple aspects for the past couple weeks. Yeah.
Cool. I would like an executive session to discuss non-elected personnel, if we can do that. I think 10 minutes is probably plenty. If anybody would mind reading that.
For how long?
10 minutes.
I move the city council recess and executive session, discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, discussion of specific personnel matters, not general personnel policies, exception KSA 75-4319. This session will include the mayor, city council members, city administrator, and city attorney for 10 minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? decisions were made. Does anybody have need for any further executive session? All right, we will move on to council comments. Lori?
Ooh, Veterans Day's tomorrow. Thank all the veterans. Thank you guys for everything you've done for all of us. That's all I got.
Thank you. Sheree?
That's what I was gonna think. Veterans remember what tomorrow is about, and it's not just a day off.
Thank you. Colleen?
On that note, remember when I asked that a couple of city employees asked about Christmas schedule and days off over Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is what the county is doing. Thanksgiving holiday, closed all day Thursday and Friday, November 27th and 28th. Christmas holiday, closed at noon on Wednesday. December 24th, closed all day. Thursday, December 25th, and Friday, December 26th. They're closed both those days. The county is.
So Thursday and Friday all day, half day on the 24th.
They always do 2.5 days.
So, and you guys said you'd think about it before, so.
Well, I know that's something we have had some discussion on, so.
Yeah, so I have talked with city staff about what they would prefer, and more than less of them said that they'd prefer having the 26th off than the 24th. Of course, they would enjoy having both off if possible. There was somebody suggested we do similar to the county where we work half a day and then you have off the other half of the day, and then for some of those that have time, they might be able to take off also the other half of the day. So those were some of the things that were discussed.
I mean, I personally think, this is not a ding on the city staff, this is a ding on all offices everywhere. The latter half of a day, if you have to work on Christmas Eve, is probably not the most productive time.
Yeah.
So you just as well be home getting ready and you're spending time with your family, I'd say, in most of those situations. But that's my 2 cents on that. Jeff?
Nope.
Yeah. Kevin?
Yeah. 2 things. Wetlands. We discussed this way back early spring about getting it seeded and grassed and getting rid of all the gullies and all that stuff in it. Whatever happened to this?
Yeah, I've been waiting on a response from Daniel about it. I know we talked about that slightly at the Water Sewer Committee. I am waiting on a response from him
Do we need to call
in regards
him
to
and ask him where this stuff is?
That's what I've been doing, and that's what I'll continue doing. I know we were talking with the bond company, and they had presented a deal for us. It's not something that we were completely interested in at that time. However, things, we were working towards an amendment to it, and then it's kind of been stalled in what I would say would be Daniel's court. So he's the one that we
When was the
need to
last
talk
time you
to.
heard from him?
Maybe a month.
It's
been a while.
Do we need to set a deadline?
And what's driving the negotiation? Is it based on what the original thought was, that we need to spend X number of dollars on X kind of a special seed mix that just blew me away, or are we taking a different approach?
I would say that that's not really what is driving it. More, what was driving the conversation before it stalled was just who's going to do it, how are they going to do it. And so I thought we had the who figured out from the bond company, not from us. Even though it was somebody that we had been talking to prior to the bond company suggesting them, ultimately that group was brought forward by them. And then we were working on types of seed, like you said, and then the other types of work. And then who was paying for it? Was the money coming into us and we were paying that out to them, or was the bond company just directly paying to them? And that's where it had stopped. And ultimately, city's opinion is that the bond company needs to be paying for it, not them paying us and then we paying it out to the contractor, because when you look at liability, you're gonna wanna make sure that the bond company is still liable for that work.
Are them gullies getting deeper? Last time you saw them?
It's
Not
hard
since
to,
last time it rained.
it's hard to tell because the sunflowers and the junk weed and everything else that grew up out there instead of grass that's supposed to be around it or were 6 foot tall out there.
Well, and the first time we went around on this, it was like gonna be $120,000 for seed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's foolish.
yeah, because it did, I mean, they were.
And that was a recommendation from the engineering group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a local independent opinion that was insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just crazy.
So I think, yeah, we probably just need to keep pushing on him,
Yeah.
push harder.
That will be my plan the rest of this week, is trying to get, an answer back from him on where it's at and what we need to do in order to get it done. I mean, obviously it is November now, but
We need to know by the end of the month. We
there
need
you
to
go.
set a deadline. Some people who like to drag stuff on.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Nope.
The other thing I had was the lagoons. Is it true that cell 1A is set too low to flow into 1?
I believe, I don't know about too low to flow into 1. I don't believe that it was, engineered or built in a way that it would flow into 1. But I do believe that the pipe from 1A to, I believe it might be 3, is too high to flow well into 3. And that's where, at the Water Sewer Committee meeting, I talked about engineering drawings versus actual building it to make it function. That was one of those
Well, if it's not
items.
draining right, we need to get it corrected.
Yeah.
So that was, when you say that, you're talking about the RFP that turned into an RFQ?
On the auditors?
No, the Water and Sewer Committee.
So there was a question at the Water Sewer Committee about, finding the best contractor, based on qualifications, and not necessarily based on, cost. And we had talked about, different, things that have bit us in the past. And that was one of the things that we had, brought up at that time. And I had mentioned how, just in general, sometimes you have designs that are not gonna work when they're actually built the way that they're designed. But the contractor's gonna build it how it's designed instead of making it functional, because that's how it was designed. So, you know, and that's how they're gonna get paid.
It's not functional.
No, it's not, as functional.
Essentially, the thing we discussed was,
I was there, yeah.
you were asking questions.
I was getting clarification.
No, he was just trying to make a point.
So we need to get that problem looked at and taken care of too.
Yeah. Big expensive project. It needs to work how it needs to work.
And
Yeah.
is that part of the bond company stuff too then? I mean, essentially that was part of the project as well.
It's an engineering.
Ultimately, it'll be whether it's okayed by KDHE at that point.
Should have been
They
taken care
have
of during
looked at,
engineering.
I would
when it was
agree.
built.
Yep, and we brought it up, I believe multiple times at that point to the engineer who was inspecting, which was BG, and to the contractor who said that they're building it as it was engineered.
What did BG say at that time?
At that time, they said they're building it as it was planned and this is how it was engineered.
So they're saying they engineered it wrong.
They're not gonna directly say that, yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Well, and I think that's open-ended question for Josh, because I don't think Josh was here when,
No, and,
Yeah.
no, and I understand that, but we've got to hold their feet to the fire on something like this probably.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we can't expect taxpayers to do that.
So when does KDHE get their blessing or not?
So far, they have actually gone ahead and approved almost all of it, except this last little bit. And so,
They are aware?
as far as they're concerned, yes, yeah, they are aware. Our water supervisor had made sure that they were aware at that time.
Yeah.
And they approved it.
there's different things. There's different levels of how they can, it is functional. It's not the most functional that it should be. And so they're looking at, is it functional? And it was. Yeah.
But we pay for functional, right? That's like semi-functional. The black and white on the paper, we pay for functional. Yeah.
Everything has gone through as far as CDBG, as far as KDHE funds. The project is being held up in the bond area right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, not at all. Anything else,
We gotta get
Kevin?
these problems fixed.
No, I agree.
We can't just have them hanging out here forever, so, no, that's all I have.
Chris?
Couple things, just want to say happy birthday to my fellow Marines. Today is 250 years, so oorah, semper fi, devil dogs. Second thing is tomorrow's Veterans Day, so the high school puts on a fantastic day for the vets every year. They do a lot of work. The students are involved. They, have a student escort for every veteran. They just do an amazing job. So I would just say if you can make it to that ceremony, please do, because they really do an amazing job. And thank you for all the veterans and for everything you do for our country. That's it.
Go.
Nope, my mom's a veteran, so thank you to all the veterans. Appreciate it. That's all I have.
I only had a couple things. A lot of people just mentioned Veterans Day, but also we have two veterans at the dais up here. And there was a couple good stories in the Advocate last week, so if you haven't read it, go read about your fellow council members and their service. Appreciated. Also wanted to mention since I know some people on 12th Road will be watching to see if that comes up tonight, here it is. Latest update, I believe, is that Steve Bloomer was going to sample the finest road gravels of the region to determine which was the best, and we were going to get that on sooner rather than later. Is that correct?
That is correct. I just have not heard back from the sampling of the finest gravel in the land, so.
Gravel flight, different classes of gravel. But so the long and short of it is, hopefully that surface will at least start the road to improvement, pun intended, soon.
To that point, sorry to interrupt, but once we get that final surface on, I think we should think about dust control.
I don't know if that's more of a spring thing, probably after we work it in the spring, but I agree. I think that in the sense of final until the pavement comes in, we need to try to make it as less dusty and miserable as we can, smoother and less dusty as we can. Agreed. Other thing is, new council will be coming in December. There will be some new seating assignments and new committee assignments. Everybody get excited. Josh should have sent an email to all the council members about if you have any committees you have your heart set on. Please do advise Josh on that. No promises. Hopefully you can get one or two of your favorites. It looks like everybody will be on, I believe, either 3 or 4 committees. Something that I had kind of mentioned before, I think we should consider is the creation of an additional committee. I'm kind of loath to create more committees and busy work. If it means we need to fold 2 other committees together or do something, we can. But it was brought to me that maybe more focus on economic development would be good. I even think focus on grants would be good. I'd like to see a grants and economic development committee because I think those things are not the same thing, but they're close. And there's something we don't really have staff time to necessarily focus on, but something that's important for the council to keep working on and kind of, when new opportunities come, a good way to explore it. And some of that goes through admin finance, but admin finance is a pretty busy committee anyway. So I'm kind of thinking maybe not just putting more stuff on that would be good. So something to think about. Nothing determined yet. Please do get back to Josh as far as preferred committee assignments. If there's one you really don't want to be on, I guess you can mention that too. But
I didn't get that email.
Yeah, funny enough, you didn't. But no, I really think if you've served your time on a committee and you kind of feel like you want to spread your wings at the airport committee or or whatever, feel free to mention that, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah, I'm trying to work all the puns in tonight, Colleen. So, other than that, I've got nothing else.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You know.
We're adjourned.